Have you ever noticed that maybe your SP starts pulling away just as you're noticing things are starting to gain traction and movement is coming in? So this isn't rejection, it's a form of resistance before the alignment fully comes in. And here is what is really happening behind the scenes on a subconscious level as your manifestation is fully forming. Hey guys, welcome to another video and welcome to any new viewers. My name's Alexa, content creator, manifestation coach, and today is of course an SP related video and a question that a lot of clients have and viewers have in the comments. So we're delving deeper into this specific area where you think, why have I had movement? Why have these positive developments occurred, but then it feels like I'm moving 3 steps back? So we're going to go into that about your specific person, because obviously it's another human being, emotions are involved, the way it conforms might look a bit different to other versions of a manifestation. So I'm delving deeper into this today with a few different sections. As you guys know, if you watch my other videos, I structure everything in different sections, so make sure to keep watching so you get all the advice. And of course, there will be loads more SP related videos. Members are about to get their exclusive content starting for this month, for November. So do click the join button below if that's something you're interested in. I keep it very, very affordable, very competitively priced at just $8.99 a month. So you can read through all the benefits before signing up, even if it's just for 1 month. But yeah, do take a look, and everything else is on screen in the description box. And I'm not sure if I will have this fully completed by the time this video is live for everyone, because members also get this a day early, but I am going to finally structure my playlists. I've noticed that from years ago, I didn't kind of reorganize my playlist. So now going forward, there will be more, maybe already placed somewhere in this video, SP, self-concept, meditations. Like, I'm going to try and structure and organize everything. So if you guys want a specific topic, you can literally just binge watch those videos in each playlist if you want. But yeah, now let's jump into the video. As both you and your SP start to shift internally, obviously it's a domino effect starting from your internal conforming, the shifts that you're working on mentally, but both you and your SP obviously are conforming to the end result of the relationship, the manifestation. Your energy and your assumptions are changing, which is of course reflecting outwards, and your SP is going to respond to that and conform to that in a natural way. It's not forcing anything. They are going to conform simply based on reflecting the assumptions that you're building on, the new positive assumptions about your relationship. And what is likely to happen is your SP will experience a kind of a rift, so to speak, and a shift from the old story into the new story. Subconsciously, there's going to be that shift, whether it's one moment of inspiration, a dream, a conversation, inspired action, whatever it may be. It kind of, I guess, obviously it would start kind of emotionally and through their thoughts. They don't just suddenly, make a decision, because as humans, that's how it works. But whatever the conforming process would include based on where you're currently at with your SP, things will happen in the most perfect, natural way. And subconsciously, they're going to experience that shift going from the old version into the new story. So that old dynamic, maybe if you know your SP, if you have some form of history or some form of communication relationship with your SP, there's going to be that temporary glitch in the 3D, so to speak, where maybe this negative thing or these, 3 steps back that I referred to in the intro, you're experiencing that, something in the 3D came up, maybe something implying a potential third party, whatever it may be, something of concern that might be showing up in the 3D. Maybe it's even just a lack of communication from your specific person after having some great conversations. There's so many different examples, and those don't matter because those are just circumstantial. So whether you experience one thing and another person watching this experience something completely different, they are all just 3D experiences. So this kind of is an overarching umbrella explanation for that. Temporary glitches in the 3D reality because of those old dynamics, the old story still filtering through. So let's say you have been consistent, you've been applying repetition, you've been really consistent with your mental focus. Obviously, it takes that repetition. I don't want to keep using the word consistent, but repetitive practice every day to build up new habits, new thought patterns, new neural pathways literally inside your body. the brain signals that, you know, your brain and your body are sending. So everything to do with you internally, the way you think, what you assume, it takes time, it takes repetition to build up, and the old story can still filter through. So if you have been consistent with that, then it's probably just the remnants of the old story purging, coming to the surface, you know, a tiny bit of hot and cold just filtering out, because usually there's a slight delay. It's not you start repeating affirmations and instantly your SP, you know, acts upon that. That's not particularly likely unless you have regular daily contact with your SP. It's probably going to take a tiny bit of time. But remember that that is temporary. So these could just be filtering through. So obviously another explanation that I'm not going to delve really deep into today, but it could be hot and cold because internally you're hot and cold. So there's different explanations, but it's always something temporary that's going to explain why maybe you took a step forward and it feels like you're taking steps back. So whatever the old pattern and old story is with your assumptions, your reactions, your memories and experiences, those circumstances that you've been dealing with, maybe it's dating as a whole, just the concept of relationships, assumptions tied to that, that old story and those old patterns are being dismantled, disintegrated, but it takes time. And, you know, your SP is reacting and responding with subconsciously to that energy, that shift and recalibration in your mindset, the energy you're connecting to, the energy you're exuding. And that old pattern is being kind of, as I said, dismantled, and it's going to disintegrate. But as I said, it does take a little bit of time. So your job is to not react and not spiral just because you're seeing that. Once you have already focused on, visualized, imagined, and thought about that new version of reality, it's already in existence. You've observed it in your mind, and that new reality already exists. So if you feel that your SP is pulling away and, you know, as I said, kind of figuratively, you know, taking a step back, then you can think of it as the quantum delay. So again, that quantum field, the magnetic connection between that quantum reality that you're imagining and that you're bringing into your physical experience now, there's a delay. The quantum field, I guess you could say, is catching up to your imagination, to your focus, to what you're repeating. Doesn't literally have to be visualizing, but through your affirmations, through that mental focus. The delay with your SP maybe pulling away or something, you know, not being 100% yet, just means that you're not literally experiencing the full reality right now, but it's coming together. So if you stay strong and push through whatever you're seeing in the 3D, understand how to keep your mindset on track, you're not going to fall off track. One way to frame it as well is kind of seeing it as the glass half full and saying, well, as long as I'm seeing shifts and I'm seeing something and I know the explanations behind what's likely going on, this is evidence of movement. So it might appear that your SP is being distant, pulling away, or something's a little negative that you've seen from them in their life. Old story is dissolving in order for the new one to take place. So it's literally just dismantling itself and coming through with the new version. So you need to maintain your focus on that, because your SP is not rejecting you. This is not a failure, or as I said before, it's not a rejection. And their subconscious mind, their subconscious beliefs are also shifting the way yours, of course, have to as well, for the relationship to develop. And their subconscious beliefs, their feelings, their emotions, everything needs to align. And it is going to align. I'm not saying, you know, you need to achieve this crazy goal and work even harder on different elements. What you're doing with that repetition, consistency, is building up the results, and their subconscious mind is going to recalibrate to that focus, to your energy. They are going to be that mirror reflection. A really great quote that I love, that really embodies and kind of supports this whole concept, and something you can repeat yourself. It doesn't even need to be tied into your religious connection. If you don't connect to that, that's fine, but it's from 2 Corinthians 5:7 that says, walk by faith, not by sight. So that perfectly embodies the mindset and level of faith and trust you should have. For me personally, of course, it does tie into God and religious beliefs, but it's just a beautiful quote overall, by saying, trust in that faith, trust in the unseen, not by what you're literally seeing. And it supports, again, that truly telling us we're not meant to panic when we see what appears to be the opposite. So for me as well, it helps to focus on the idea that God is rearranging everything in the divine order, just divine alignment. Everything is being rearranged for me. I don't need to go and move all those chess pieces, so to speak. I just need to focus my own mindset, have faith, have trust. Try not to waver, try and resolve those issues if I am wavering. But when your 3D reality with your SP looks a little bit off and you're maybe saying, why is this happening? Why did SP say this or do that or post this? I know social media can be a big trigger as well. Remind yourself, I'm focusing on faith, not on sight. It doesn't matter what I'm seeing in my 3D reality right now. I know what's coming together and what's going to be mine in the very near future. So try and let go of that need to maybe control it. Try to speed things up, coming from lack or impatience or fear of rejection, maybe thinking, I have to make this happen. Your job is not obviously to force the result or having to take a lot of action and being the one to make everything happen. Absolutely not. That's not even how a healthy relationship comes together. So your job is to focus on your faith, focus on that internal focus, not force. Don't chase your SP, don't chase the outcome, the relationship. Try not to react. If you react, obviously that can naturally come up in your mind, you're only human, but try and create, automated reactions and habits through consistent positive thoughts, through consistent affirmations, mental diet, just everything tied into that. And maybe reaffirm something like, everything's coming together in perfect divine order for my highest good. Something that just gives you trust and reassurance that you're supported, you're protected, everything is coming together for you as it's supposed to. Bad things are not going to happen because you have that faith, you have unwavering faith, and you just are tunnel vision focused on that end result, your relationship, everything being healthy and happy and secure in your relationship with your SP. So try and really anchor into that end result, that end state of being in the relationship with your SP. That can help you refocus when you have doubt, you have an off day. So really just take a moment, visualize, or just think thoughts to yourself, an inner conversation, what it would be like in that end result, what it will be like in that end result with your SP. Anchor yourself into a moment in that end result. So that's a bit different for everyone. Maybe there's one specific desired visual outcome, a scene that you can focus on, and that's just going to refocus you and show you why you're doing what you're doing. So when you do feel that fear and that doubt, just remind yourself it's the old story unraveling. It doesn't matter what the 3D is temporarily currently showing me. It will shift. Everything changes, including these negative moments, these negative memories, negative circumstances. The old story is filtering out. So don't hold on to that mentally because you don't want to elongate that process. So stay consistent overall. Your subconscious mind will recalibrate, refocus, and take on those new beliefs and assumptions. And that is more powerful than any negative emotion you might currently be feeling, which again is temporary. So repetition and consistency is going to be your best friend. I'm going to leave this video here. I hope it was useful and clarified a few things, gave you reassurance, which is usually the goal with my videos. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.